Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are about to talk about this week's TV news, which we do every week on a Friday for funs.
Usually on a Friday.
Usually. Depends, sometimes schedules can get wacky, but we have so many shows on a Friday night that we do on a Saturday now that it tends to be a Friday because we have to get it out of the way first.
Yeah.
But yeah, so lots of things happened again this week, and we'll see if any of it's exciting. Although there's at least a couple where we can play a new game, where if it's untitled, we can title it.
Oh yes.
So there's a couple of those. So that's at
Have you
least.
been thinking in advance?
I didn't have time. I was doing this news right up until the second you said I'm ready to record. So I've not had time to really put any thought into it. So
Good. Level footed.
couple of quick things to kick us off then. Which first one's a little bit of bad news. Brain Dead's been cancelled by CBS.
I'm kind of okay with it.
It was a complete story, season one. It wrapped everything up. It was finished.
I got my thing, and it's fantastic, and I can rewatch it and know I've got that, and that's never going to change. Sure, I would like more, but
Yeah. So Brain Dead's been cancelled. As has American Gothic, which was CBS's other summer show, which we nosedived out of after the first episode.
did we try that one?
Yeah, we did.
Which one was that
That
one?
was the one where there was like a killer like 20 years ago, and the brother came back. And
Yeah, that was awful.
it was awful.
See, that deserved to be cancelled.
I remember kind of enjoying it for how awful it was, but it was like, just dropped immediately after the
That
first one.
deserved to be cancelled. Brain Dead maybe didn't.
But both of them got low ratings, and that's the reason for the cancellations. And they're also on CBS. They've given some full season orders to three of its new shows.
Already?
Yeah, so they've been extended. It didn't actually mention how many episodes it was, so I'm assuming it's the usual 22-ish, around that mark. And it's CBS.
I think it's 23 for CBS normally, isn't it?
22 to 24, something like
Yeah.
that, in that region. But they've given full season orders to Bull, Kevin Can Wait, which is the new Kevin James sitcom, which we never even bothered trying because
Because shame on you, American people with Nielsen boxes watching this and giving them ideas that it's worth continuing with.
and then the third one, brace yourself. MacGyver's had a full season order.
No, I knew it was going to
NBC.
be that.
NBC, sorry, CBS.
Again, American audiences with Nielsen boxes.
Neil boxes? What's a Neil box?
It's a shorthand.
Dear.
What are you doing? What are you watching?
I don't know. Why are people watching enough MacGyver that it's getting a full season? I don't understand people. Stop it. Stop it now. Do you know what I love? I love that everything that we kept watching has not been getting full seasons, but everything we said, no, we're not going to continue, has been getting full seasons.
It's because you can't trust people.
Or we have no idea what we're talking about. That's always a possibility.
I mean, sure, but I feel like I relate at this point with Superhands from Peep Show, where, as he says, people vote in the Nazis and people like Coldplay. You can't trust people.
I like Coldplay.
See? Point proven.
Didn't vote for the Nazis. Nor am I German, for that matter.
It's not the point here.
Nor
the
was
point
I.
is,
Nor was I
God damn it,
born.
all you people who are still watching this.
Nor was I born remotely close to a time where I could have been German and voted the Nazis. But so yeah, that's the unfortunate news from CBS. CBS, of course, give us nothing but bad news these days. It seems, or well, ever really. I mean, they had Supergirl for a season, but then that gets shifted off to CW. So now CBS is just the place of death and despair
Police procedurals.
and police procedurals and whatever the hell MacGyver is. All right, on to something else, something a bit more interesting. Stranger Things has added a couple of new cast members for season 2.
Ooh, go on.
Sadie Sink will play Max. Now, Sadie Sink, I am not familiar with. She was apparently in American Odyssey on NBC, and she was guested on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and The Americans. She's a kid. She's a child actress.
Right, so we'll have seen her in Kimmy Schmidt then, because we've watched that.
Probably. But anyways, but the more interesting part, I think, is the description, just so you can get an idea of who the character is. So she plays Max. Max is a tomboy with a complicated history, with a suspicious streak.
Just while we're talking about Stranger Things,
And she's a kid, remember?
a little bit off topic, but the soundtrack recently released, and I bought it, and it's fantastic. It reminded me that it's just so good, and everyone else should probably go and buy it.
I will probably look into that after we're done, actually. I love the music in that show.
Yeah, there you go. Just a little public service announcement.
Yeah, so I'm sensing a possible love interest for one of the kids here.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Don't know which one, but probably more funny
care,
if
as long as I get more.
Yeah, it's probably more funny if it's oh god, I've forgotten their names now.
Which one? Describe them.
Toothless, missing, and then the frizzy hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. God, I've forgotten their names. I'm gonna have to.
This is the problem when you binge watch something and then it's like
It's months later.
You don't talk about it for 3 or 4 months. It's like, okay, what was their name again?
Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to binge watch it again before season 2 hits next year. Don't you worry.
Any excuse.
Yeah. The other actor who's been cast will play her big brother. It's Dacre Montgomery, who you will see in the upcoming Power Rangers film. He is the Red Ranger in the new Power Rangers movie, so you'll see him soon. He's going to play her older brother named Billy. Billy is a charismatic Camaro driving drinker, a classic girlfriend stealing bad boy. What did I say?
Camaro.
There you go. Yeah, sorry. This is my lack of knowledge in cars shining through here. But yeah, so it's another teenage character.
I'm cool. I mean, yeah, it's kind of vague, but
It is.
I trust them on that show. So,
Well,
do whatever you want.
It's vague, but it's also very 80s stereotype, which I feel is very intentional.
Yeah, it is very much that.
Yes. It's a couple of Stranger Things characters there. And next thing before we get to all the new shows in development and pilot orders and things like that is Jodie Foster's actually been hired to direct an episode of Black Mirror Season 4.
Okay.
Well, just funny because Season 3 of Black Mirror just launched today. Our review of the first episode is already up. We're doing one per day, so there'll be a link somewhere in the corner for that.
Some masterful plugging there.
Yes. Well, if it comes up naturally in the news, you gotta
make the most of it.
But so she's going to direct an episode in Season 4 starring Rosemary DeWitt. There's no description or anything like that, but it just mentions, of course, it's coming in 2017. So I thought that was worth mentioning. It's a fairly notable get.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So Black Mirror is getting big. So, new shows. Lots of new shows.
Here we go.
To talk about.
Once more into the gauntlet.
And I wonder... I feel like less of them this week are interesting, but maybe I'll change my mind as we talk about them.
And I'm sensing there's still a lack of update on my Mermaid War show.
Yes, Mermaid War show called The Deep, I believe was the title.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, from Freeform. No update on that. Stay tuned, maybe next week. So, comedies first, as I do usually. CBS has given a series order, interestingly enough. Oh, actually, hold on. I do apologise. I forgot this was the first one here. This is not a comedy. The comedies begin after this one. Now,
what are you playing at?
Now, it's not a drama either.
Well, what is it?
We don't normally talk about game shows on this show.
This better be good.
I don't know if good's the word I'd use for this. However, this felt notable enough that we should mention its existence.
Okay.
CBS has given a series order to Candy Crush Saga.
I don't know how to react to that. I'm amazed I didn't see this news already because... What?
The hour-long series will feature teams of 2 players competing against giant interactive game boards to defeat obstacles and move through various levels to be crowned Candy Crush champion. Do you know what the funny thing is, right? You take away the fact that it's based on a stupid mobile game. I actually don't think the series sounds that bad. This just reminds me of shows that, used to be on, especially in the UK. We used to have things like 50-50 or total knockout or wipeout.
Yeah,
Or
but
whatever
they
it's
were
called.
different. They were physical obstacle things. This is
That sounds like they're physical.
but game board.
Yeah, I'm imagining like there's a big giant game board, but there's each part's going to be like an obstacle. Like I can
Look,
almost.
unless they're running through obstacle courses and jumping on big red balls above mud pits,
That's what
I'm
I
not
am
in.
imagining. That is what I am imagining based on this.
Okay,
Except all the big things all look like candy, of course.
obviously. Right. If
Obviously.
it's that, I'm in again.
Okay, yeah. See, I think this sounds fine as a concept for one of these types of shows. Even think of Gladiators, like, and like the bit at the end they always had where they'd go through the course. Like, I could just see it being things like the different bits like that, or something like there was a Crystal Maze comeback this last week over in the UK where they did a one-off episode, but that was a thing where they had like 4 zones and they had obstacles, and some games were more mind-based. It could be something like that.
No, I get that. I'm just being cynical.
That's fine. Candy Crush Saga.
That's probably why I'm being
Yeah,
cynical.
because it's called Candy Crush Saga. But let's get to the actual shows, shall we? The proper shows.
Yes, please.
Okay. Greg Berlanti.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah, it's a comedy, so it's not exactly in his main repertoire. But I'm pointing out that he's currently trying to take over TV in general.
He's doing a lot.
But yeah, Greg Berlanti is doing a comedy. He is producing Pushing, which follows Sydney, who's pushing 40, hence the title. And she decides to go back to work as a rock band manager while struggling to raise 2 small children and keep the passion alive with her husband, which is no problem because she's got this, except when she doesn't.
Kind of like the sound of that, apart from the kids.
Yeah,
I hate kids in comedies. I'm all like 90% of the time.
Yeah, kids can be awful. Honestly, I feel the same way about this as I do any other sitcom description. Seems kind of vague.
Like I said, core idea is fine. Like I said, vague and kid work, the character's good, but I am concerned about the kids.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I have nothing to really... I have no feeling on it one way or the other, so...
No, well, we'll see if Berlanti can do some magic.
Alright, next up, Fox has given a script plus penalty commitment to a show starring a Vine star.
I'm out.
Andrew Batchelor, who's known online as King Back. Or King Batch. I'm assuming it's Back because it's written like the name Back, but I mean, because his name is Batchelor, I could see it being pronounced Batch. So I don't know. Clearly, I've never heard of the dude. That's what I'm getting at. So
Seen any of his stuff?
I don't doubt it. But yeah, it's a single camera comedy, and get this. It centres on a former Navy SEAL, played by Batchelor, who is having trouble readjusting to civilian life. To cope, he forms a team of mercenaries called the Badass Task Force of Elite Assault Mercenaries, which leads to the title of the show, which is called B-Team. The mercenaries are a little less elite than the former SEAL might have hoped, and the B part is somewhat off the mark, but under the SEAL's tutelage, they fight for the little guy and protect the law, while sometimes breaking it.
I'm just watching some of his vines. There's one where he's dressed up as Superman and he's blaming Flash for doing stuff. So, I don't know. He maybe it's alright.
I'll be honest, the description of the show was a lot more intricate than I was expecting. When it said,
Yeah.
based on Vine Star, I was thinking generic comedy thing, and it's like, no, he's a Navy SEAL, and he's like formed this team of misfits, and like, oh, right, okay.
My problem is it too specific for a good comedy?
I don't know, I could see that. This has lasting appeal, because it's a team that can go on missions, so I feel like, as much as it's elaborate, it's also
Yeah, that's
simple
true.
enough, you know?
Yeah.
So, alright, next up, The Rock is producing a comedy, Dwayne Johnson, of course, and it's actually related to his past. It's going to be based on his start in the wrestling business. It's untitled right now, but he is producing it alongside Will Ferrell, of all people, and it's inspired by the real life experiences of him and a former writer for the WWE named Brian Gewirtz. I think I'm pronouncing that right. The series offers a behind-the-scenes look at the fictional professional wrestling outfit and chronicles the one-of-a-kind odd couple relationship that develops between a charismatic young character like The Rock and a painfully awkward comedy writer new to the world of wrestling. A fish out of water among all of these alpha males, this beta former sitcom writer needs as much help as he can get navigating the extremely passionate, sometimes crazy, and always unpredictable world of professional wrestling.
I wish I knew enough about wrestling to make a good pun for the title, but unfortunately, I just don't.
Yeah, I'll give you a few in a second. I actually kind of like the sound of this. I feel like it'll be accessible to people who don't know anything about wrestling because it'll be about the fact that he's out of place. It'll be, because the whole point is The Rock was starting his career and he was young. No, he had to earn his respect. But he teamed with this comedy writer who was also being treated as a misfit because he wasn't this big 6-foot muscly guy.
That's my big thing for it. The fact that it's clearly them coming to the industry.
Yeah.
It should ease people like me into it as well, because we'll be learning at the same pace as maybe him wanting to be a wrestler knows more, but like the comedy writer.
Now, it does sound like it won't actually be like the character won't be The Rock. Like they'll make a new character for it and.
They say that now.
Well, I can see them doing that because I don't think they want to actually use WWE. They'll probably make a fake
That's true.
company, so they'll probably want to just make a fake character as well to go with it, because it'll be weird if he's called The Rock, but it's...
Do they get a rock-alike?
A rock-alike.
Yeah, that's just a look-alike for The Rock.
I don't know, maybe. As for a title, because it's untitled, there's lots of things you could call it. And what I like about it as well is it's a very modern take on wrestling, because wrestling for a long time, it was almost like you'd be sacrificed to a live crowd if you for a second pretended that it wasn't real. Whereas now it's accepted that it's written and it's...
Yeah, for a long time it was they really pretended it was real.
Yeah, where they still do when it's on, but outside of it when they're doing interviews, they're happy to talk about it having storylines and things like that.
Yeah,
there's a line they don't cross, but they're generally a lot more...
It's fine when it's on, because that's kind of your event.
Yeah, because
even if someone who doesn't watch this, I buy that. Yeah, it's your story.
That'd be like watching The Flash, but then expecting them in the middle to comment on the fact that it's a TV show.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't expect them out of the show to pretend that it is The Flash.
Exactly. So, as for a title, there's lots of things you could call this. You could work kayfabe into the title. Kayfabe, Connor, is... kayfabe is the word that's used to describe the fictional stories of wrestling. So, so say you hear about a wrestler being angry at another wrestler, you might ask the question, is that kayfabe or is that real?
Right, okay.
So kayfabe is when it's fake. It's the word for it being fake.
Yeah, wrestling fiction.
Yes, there you go. So I can see you could work that into, because it's about a writer writing the stuff. They could also use something specifically from The Rock to kind of talk about the charisma and the comedy, because he was a very charismatic talker and he made a lot of people laugh when he was on the mic. So, they could use one of his catchphrases and turn that into the title if they want. And I assume they'd be allowed to, because he's producing it. So
unless the catchphrases are owned by WWE?
I don't know if
I don't know who has the rights to them.
The catchphrases, I'm not sure. Because some wrestlers, their names are owned by WWE, some of them they're not, and it's mix and match.
But you can see, depending on how catchphrases are used, if it's a personal thing or if it's used to promote the brand, that could go either way, I'd imagine. Yeah,
so it could be any one of those if they're allowed to.
Any of them fit?
Some of them.
I don't know any of them.
They could just call it electrifying. Because he used to call himself the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, and you could just call it electrifying, and that would work. You could... I don't know, he was called the Great One, he was called the People's Champion, he talked a lot about shoving things up people's asses.
I feel like I might avoid that last one.
But yeah, but then there's so many... You could call it Under the Mat, you could call it... I don't know, heel turn, you could call it. There's tons of wrestling terms.
Heel turn I like, because it's kind of a turn for this new career writer. He's changing career.
It's not even just that. A big part of The Rock's starting career is that they tried to like put him out there as this character who was like this young baby face, like everyone, like really cheery guy who was like noble, and you know, he came out to this really upbeat music, and you know, he was a high flyer, and people hated him. They started booing him. They started chanting "Die Rocky Die" at him, and so what they did was, okay, we'll change his character. We'll make him a heel, and that's known in wrestling as a heel turn, when you turn from being a face to a heel, and he like became this more like wisecracking, like, you know, tough guy who was really sort of like full of himself. But that's actually when people started to like him, because it was more in fitting with what he could do, because he was fast talking, and he was less of, it was more something that was more natural to him. So I could see them calling it heel turn, because
I
that's
like
kind of
that
what
as a
happened
title then. Yeah. No, I do like that. I think we'll settle with that.
Yeah, okay. That's my guess then. Heel turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that.
Good
So
job one of us knows something about wrestling.
that is good, because otherwise we'd just be sitting here not knowing what to call this. Alright, we've got another untitled one coming up.
Okay.
Carol Burnett and Amy Poehler are going to star in a new comedy with ABC's multi-camera, which is unfortunate. I'd rather it was single camera. But I like Amy Poehler. Carol Burnett's a older actress who's pretty famous in old sitcoms and stuff. She's well known. But yeah, it's an untitled comedy. It's about a family who gets a chance to buy the house of their dreams, a house they'd never be able to afford under normal circumstances, but is able to under the abnormal circumstances. That's actually a really weird sentence. Yeah. They must live with the current owner, an older actress, played by Burnett, until she dies.
Oh, okay. Kind of like that.
It's not a bad premise.
It's not. It's not at all, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it sounds okay. Multi-camera probably means laugh track, which is kind of in this day and age, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it could be great, and
Yeah. So presumably Paula will be the mother of the family.
I think that's a fair assumption.
So, yeah, it could be fun. I see potential. All right, sticking with ABC. ABC have got a lot this week, actually. Iliza Schlesinger. Schlesinger. I think I'm saying that right. Schlesinger.
I can't see it, so don't look to me for support.
Schlesing. Oh, SHLE then singer. So Schlesinger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iliza Schlesinger has sold a pilot to ABC for a comedy, and it is untitled at the moment. And it is created by Schlesinger, but she will not star in the show. So she is an actress, but she's not going to be.
I don't know who she is, frankly.
Me neither. It's clearly evident by the fact that I wasn't sure how to say her name. The project follows a wife and mum and her New York family as they relocate to Dallas, Texas after her husband suddenly divorces her, and she's left alone with 2 children and a fledgling catering career, while also having to adjust to her new single life in a town that none of them fit in.
Potential.
So it's a pretty standard sort of escaping from the big city, going to, well, it's not quite a suburb because it's Dallas, but
Yeah, it's the same sort of idea, isn't it?
So they don't fit in. They're trying to adjust to a new town, and she's a caterer. I assume that means kind of like catering for events rather than anything else. It sounds like that.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Again, you know, could.
The catering aspect could be nice and give you an excuse to go to different locations and have different people there.
Yeah. You could always have a lot of good guest stars that way by having.
You could have her do a different event every week.
Yeah, that could almost be the. I don't feel like it will be. I think if that was the premise of the show, that each week would focus on an event.
They'd tell us.
They tell us that.
I feel like you could kind of get there.
Yeah. Because she's got kids, I'm expecting some home life stuff as well, of course. But
of course.
Yeah, it sounds okay. So it sounds like it could be okay, I should say. Alright, so next up, more comedies. Eva Longoria is working on a new comedy for ABC. And it's called 940 Saturdays.
It's a lot.
So if they're expecting us to run to 940 episodes to cover all these Saturdays, Jesus, that's going to be going a long, long time. Eva Longoria...
I'll tell you right now, that's longer than I'm willing to watch.
But yeah, it's based on a book by Harley Rothbart. And it's 940 Saturdays because that's how many Saturdays pass from the time your child is born until they turn 18.
Okay.
And the show
Definitely longer than I'm willing to commit.
yeah, especially since with season breaks, it'd actually be longer than that. It'd be longer than 18 years.
That's a good point.
Unless they just skip the summer months, in which case, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's probably wise. Keep it in real time. That's a good idea. But yeah, so the show would follow three families who band together to enjoy and survive those 940 weekends.
So are they all having a newborn at the same time?
I don't know. I feel like, unless they want to do time jumps, what they'd be smarter doing is having the three families have kids at different stages. So one would be a newborn, one would be about 10, and one would be a teenager.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that way you'd get like all the aspects of the different stages.
Yeah, that does make sense.
That would be my guess.
I'm concerned.
Why are you concerned?
I mean, I think it was the first comedy where I was like, kids. Now this just revolves around them. So, you know.
I don't hate kids in sitcoms to the same extent you do. I feel like almost most sitcoms, well, maybe not most actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's a lot that I like that don't have kids in it.
There's a couple of sitcoms with kids that are very good with them, but I find the majority not. Maybe this will be one of those ones that is actually pretty great with them. But I'm still, I'll go in concerned, and then they can prove me wrong.
I feel like a lot of the time, though, the kids are just they're practically props. It's mainly the parents that we focus on, and the kids are just,
Yeah. That is fair, but when the show is about this, I feel like they have to focus on the kids a fair amount more than normal.
Maybe it just depends.
Yeah.
If it's just about the parents dealing with it, the kid part of it could literally just be the kid having a problem, and then it focuses on the parent having to deal with that problem.
That's true. I hope it is just that.
But no, I mean, as far ideas go, it's fine. Again, it's kind of a generic one, because as much as it's got a cool title, 940 Saturdays, what does that mean? It is basically just, a family sitcom again.
I really hope they just air it on like a Wednesday or something. I mean, they wouldn't air it on a Saturday, because no one airs anything on a Saturday, but they should anyway.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Sticking with ABC, although now we are heading into the hour-long dramas.
Oh, okay. The actual interesting-ish stuff.
Do you know what's on the reboot slate this week?
Probably. I've probably seen it and forgotten about it because it annoyed me.
No, you may not remember this one. So ABC is developing a series based on Enemy of the State.
I didn't see this one.
If you don't know this was a movie that came out in 1998 that starred Will Smith and Gene Hackman. And I seen it at the time. I remember not really liking it that much. I thought it was kind of bland. But again, it's been like probably 16 years, give or take.
I've never seen it.
So, and I typically like Tony Scott movies because I think it was Tony Scott that made that. I think it was. And I typically like his movies, but I wasn't into that one so much. But the original producer, Jerry Bruckheimer, is producing the show, so there is some talent. Will Smith is not attached to the project, which they point out very specifically, because it's like, oh, is Will Smith involved? Like, because that's immediately what the mind goes to. Is Will Smith involved in this ABC show? No, he's not. Of course he's not. He's Will Smith. He's got better things to do with his time.
Idiots. He could just spend his money on anything and it'd probably be better.
Yeah. Based off the movie, the show is set 2 decades after the original film, so it's a sequel-ish kind of series. Obviously, it's more of a reboot because none of the cast are going to show up, I imagine. Maybe some of the small people if they bother. Not that I remember any of the smaller characters would recognise them if they do show up. But yeah, it's set 2 decades after the original film, when an elusive NSA spy is charged with leaking classified intelligence. An idealistic female attorney must partner with a hawkish FBI agent to stop a global conspiracy that threatens to expose dark secrets and personal mysteries connecting all three of their lives.
Okay.
I'm not feeling it.
Me either.
I'm not feeling it.
We're going to have to try the first one anyway, though, aren't we?
We will, and who knows, maybe it'll surprise us. So yeah, you've got an NSA character who is charged with stuff, and then for some reason, the information that he's leaking connects to this FBI agent and this attorney. They're all affected by this.
Sounds pretty generic.
It does sound pretty generic. It sounds like they're dressing it up in a lot of spy talk, but it's really just a sort of typical story.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. But sticking with ABC, I told you ABC had a lot. That's like 3 comedies and 2 dramas from them this week. Head Games.
I like the name.
Head Games is based on a book, and it's also written by the same writer of that book. And whose name I apparently have not written into this. Oh, I do apologise, folks.
I will say that concerns me a little bit.
That's poor form. What?
Because the novel writer writing the script, I often find that they can't adapt to the medium, and things get a little bit clunky in the transition.
Possibly. But yeah, it follows Dr. Jonah Hoffman, a Park Avenue psychiatrist who is approached by the government to come to work for them as a spy, feeding them crucial intel on one of his patients, a potential national security threat. As Jonah enters a duplicitous... Oh, that's an interesting... I don't get to say that word often. That's a word when I see it written down, I go, oh, that's a...
You have to stop and think about how to say this
yeah,
one.
I'm like, oh, I don't see that one often. Yeah. So yeah, it's a world filled with danger and paranoia. He begins to realise the only way to save the world is to trust himself and take action. Yeah, you would think. I assume that one of the conflicts for this guy in the first episode has to be, wait a minute, I took an oath for doctor-patient confidentiality.
Yeah.
And the NSA or whoever are like, give us information.
Yeah. You'd hope so.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, that has to be the big stumbling block for the character in the first episode. Until maybe he hears something that makes him think, "Oh, this guy's actually going to kill a lot of people. Maybe I should break my rule."
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, ABC have got it for spies at the minute.
Yeah. That said, I think there is actually some rules in place where they have to inform the police if they do get told of potential.
I have no idea.
I think there is. I think there's a thing where if someone says to them, "Oh, I'm going to blow up somewhere," or "I'm going to shoot a bunch of people," they have to inform the police that there's a potential dangerous act.
Fair enough.
I think there is. I may just be making that up, but I feel like I've heard that. Anyway, so that's Head Games coming from ABC. So yes, let's move on. I need to scroll down here. I do apologise.
Oh, that's bright.
Is it? Oh, sorry. I'll reshape this so that I'm not.
Everything just kind of lit up bluey whitey for a second.
I'll move down so that I'm not covering myself in blue. Right. Okay. So CBS we're moving on to. So we know we're going to be interested in this.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do we need to read this one?
So this is actually a show for the summer. This is a 13-episode event series for next summer. So this is what's filling the void of Brain Dead and American Gothic.
I mean, Brain Dead was good. So if we can have another one like that,
we shall see. So CBS is on a 13-episode event series called Salvation. It is from Alex Kurtzman's Secret Hideout production company and CBS TV. It is an hour-long series centered on an MIT grad student and tech superstar who stumble upon the discovery of a probably much shortened lifetime. An asteroid is 6 months away from colliding with Earth. And that's it.
Doesn't sound as good as Brain Dead.
I don't know, this is kind of thing where it could be really... It just depends on how it's made. It depends on...
It does.
Like, what is this actually about? Is this basically a 13-episode Armageddon? Is that what this is?
But will it have musical recaps?
I don't really care if we get those again, if I'm honest.
Would.
I mean, they were fine, but I was not impressed with them as you were.
You disgrace.
So this is what CBS are doing next summer. And it's kind of weird as well. I don't really, I'm not sure if it's going to be... is it like the serious version of No Tomorrow, where it's just people talking about this thing that's about to happen, and it's the drama that comes from it, or is it
them trying to prevent it?
Yeah, is it them actively trying to do something about it? It sounds like it is because it's an event series, but it's hard to say.
I need a trailer.
Yeah, we need a trailer. All right, sticking with CBS. In fact, CBS is the rest of this. Actually, not quite. It's most of the rest of this. So CBS are developing a legal drama from Ridley Scott, who's producing it. It's titled Mrs. and Mister. Sorry, I keep getting this wrong. Mrs. v. Mister is the title. Dawn of Spousal Abuse. No, I'm joking about that last part. Mrs. v. Mister. It's a larger-than-life LA defense attorney and the chief prosecutor for the DA's office who are constantly at odds in the courtroom, but happen to be a happily married couple outside of the courtroom.
Oh, I saw that coming.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? It's such a TV premise.
I'm so not down for this.
No, nothing could make me want to not watch this more.
Yeah, Ridley Scott's name does not help in the slightest.
No, they have 3 kids that they're raising outside of the courtroom.
Of course they do.
Yeah, but in the courtroom, of course, they are the prosecutor and the defense attorney. So, let's move on. We don't care about that. I don't even think we'll try the first episode. I think we'll avoid that like the plague.
No, we do not touch legal dramas as a rule.
Pretty much. Even Haley Atwell couldn't get us to watch one.
The closest we have come to a legal drama is Daredevil.
No, arguably Better Call Saul.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
There's not that much lawyering.
There's more than Daredevil.
Well, yeah, okay. But not enough for CBS.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, CBS is developing Stingray, which is a thriller based on a book from author James Patterson. And now remember the name James Patterson.
I know who James Patterson is.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He writes a lot of this sort of thriller.
No, okay. Stingray is a fun, adrenaline-filled drama in the tradition of Mission Impossible and Ocean's 11. It centers on a group of ex-con artists who work for the FBI, using their amazing transformational skills and elaborate deceptions to take down the most elusive criminals. This feels really weird that they're developing this when it sounds a lot like MacGyver.
I was just thinking that. I was like, sure this isn't just MacGyver.
It sounds very similar to MacGyver. If they put in something about someone building things, it would be MacGyver, it feels like. Other than the fact that they're ex-con artists, I suppose. I mean, I suppose that's the...
I suppose that puts it more in the range of Hustle.
Yeah, but it still sounds like you can almost feel it. You can see what it is before we've even looked at it. However, author James Patterson's having a very good week. Because NBC... Sorry, no. Oh no, ABC. We're back to ABC. ABC are doing so goddamn much this week. Jesus Christ, ABC. Calm down. ABC have bought the rights to another one of his series of books called NYPD Red. Which, again, it's a series of books by Mr. Patterson. It's based on the eponymous... Oh, that's another word that I don't get to say.
It's a nice word, isn't it, though?
Eponymous. Special division of the NYPD task force with investigating Manhattan's highest profile crimes. The unit's top detective, Kylie MacDonald, puts professionalism above all else. She will find her greatest challenge in navigating the... Gee, this is one's written with some fantastic words here. The tempestuous relationship with her new partner, Zach Jordan, a street-smart and rough-around-the-edges cop. Together they will fight to bring justice to New York City's... And this is a really weird part. I don't know... Together they will fight to bring justice to New York City's most famous addresses. Yeah, like the rest of the things get eponymous and tempestuous, and then bring justice to its famous addresses.
Okay.
I don't get that last part. That's the what? So they're solving crimes on in the Empire State Building and other famous landmarks. Is that what they're doing? I don't know. Sounds like a cop show.
Yeah.
that's the sum of it.
It doesn't stir me because Parsons' stuff is very generic. He puts out like multiple books a year. Like he just churns them out, which is why it's not surprising to me that he's had 2 picked up in 1 week, because it was bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, both of these sound generic as hell. I have to admit, we had a lot of news there, but I don't really feel like any of it excited me. Very little of it did.
Stranger Things stuff, maybe.
Okay, sure, but I mean, in terms of all the new shows, there was
Yeah, I could take or leave any of them, really.
there's a lot of vague stuff. So, some stuff that could be good. I mean, with the right people behind them, directing, writing, that kind of thing, right cast. Sure, some of these could end up being great, but it's a very vague and generic week of TV pilots and
Yeah.
development news. So. But anyway, that's the news, folks. Let us know what you thought of any of those new shows in the comments below. Any thoughts and ideas? Give us your titles for the untitled ones, by all means. So thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. Check out all the reviews that went up this week. Like I said, Black Mirror has started Season 3. There'll be more of those going up as the days go by, over the weekend and into the start of next week. And all the other usual stuff that's up. So...
Also, please, if you come up with titles for the untitled ones, you want to tweet them at me, I'd love it, because it's probably the easiest way I'm going to see them. And I'm interested.
Okay. So, thanks very much for watching, guys. Keep watching TV. We will see you next time.